is the beautiful Kat Roman and her friends, her sacred friends. Thank you, Kat, for bringing some music to us today. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown. I'm Frankie Timmers, and welcome for those of you that are joining us online today or any future time. We are celebrating the month of December with our own theme called Bringing Your Light. And that fits within the theme of Centers for Spiritual Living globally, and that is a grand rising. So today we have Kat bringing us some beautiful sounds, and we have Susan doing a spiritual practice for us as the practitioner of the day. And Susan is available to do spiritual mind treatment with you at the end of celebration. Don't get your coffee first, because you're going to miss her. So grab her quickly, and she'll do a short affirmative prayer for anybody in need. If you need more than that, we have a list of our practitioners, and you can reach out to them for spiritual support. That includes Reverend Janice and myself. So, yes, let's start with our Namaste practice, where we put our hands together and do the Sanskrit practice of Namaste, which is the divinity in me blesses the divinity in you. So remember, you're not just giving, you're also receiving. So take a little bit more time receiving today than giving, and see what that feels like. So, Namaste. And let's treat our word for affirmative prayer. In this moment, when we are in the darkest time of the year, we remember that there is an eternal bright light right where we are, right within us. It is our essence, our spirit, our deepest knowing, the truth beyond measure, the infinite light that is everywhere and everyone, everything, all the time, whether we're witnessing it or not. And so today we celebrate that those of us on the spiritual path are the ones that get to bring the light into the world with our love, our wisdom, our clarity, our joy. This means that when we're not in that place, we know where to go to refuel, to rewire, to plug back in, to fill up, so that we may once again spill over and be a beneficial presence in the world. Because there is no right or wrong, good or bad, dark or light. There's just being an instrument of the divine in only the way that each and every one of us can be. So if we can surrender to that and trust that, then we truly become the gift that the world needs today. So I'm so grateful to be part of a spiritual community and to have available this beautiful teaching, as I know everyone in this room and witnessing this live stream anytime in the future or today. Just grateful for spiritual wisdom, spiritual practices, and our own individual evolution. And so that really is the end of the treatment, but the beginning of this Sunday morning celebration. And so it is. So it is. So my topic today is, and the sun stands still, which is what solstice really means. And I want to start with a story, a very, very, very ancient story, a story that started long, 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 long ago. At this time of the year. It's the story of our ancestors. The story of our ancestors that we rarely think about. I don't think a lot about that my ancestors were indigenous people. They were at the beginning of time. I don't think back that far to the beginners, where the story is, it began with hunter-gatherers, and they were also called the little people. The hunter-gatherers were a peaceful people. They worshipped nature. They lived in peace with everyone, including the planet, the beautiful Mother Earth, or Gaia. Male, female were equal, and there was a lot of sex because sex was healthy and was pleasure and was about celebrating fertility and procreation. And then there was this incredible freedom of being who they were, which was a lot about survival, right? But it was also about worshiping nature and worshiping the sun. They began to migrate north, and as they were migrating north, and apology if any of my story is not perfectly correct because I'm not a professor, but I did my homework. As they were going north, they began to encounter winter. It was colder up north, it was a little darker. In the winter, the leaves were falling off the trees, and it felt like the earth was dying. There was a lot of ice and snow and a lot of cold, and the people were so afraid that life was coming to an end, that the sun, which they worshipped, was actually dying, and their life and the earth and everything else that goes with it was the end. Thank goodness for shamans, because the shamans were the early scientists. They were witnessing patterns. They were witnessing cycles. They were becoming aware that there were seasons. They knew it was winter, and winter would come to an end, the sun would return, and spring would come. They truly understood time and the mysteries of the seasons, and that's why they began to create ceremonies. Winter solstice was a huge reason to celebrate, because there was hope and faith that the sun would return, that the land would be manageable again, that life would return. And I want to do a little bit of an aside, because in my studies, I discovered something that most of us know, but I thought that's very, very interesting. So time was measured differently back then. They didn't have clocks and iWatches and phones, and none of that existed. Calendars didn't exist. The way they thought of time was they would say then or now, or they would say later. It was all based on the sun and the moon. They would speak of sunrise or high noon or sunset. They would say, I'll see you 2 days after the next full moon. Or they would say, we'll see each other after the snow has melted. The only holiday that still resembles the cycles of the moon and the sun is, what do you think? Who knows? I can't hear you.
4th of July.
4th of July? I heard it.
Yeah, Mother's Day.
Who said something? No, Easter. You know why? Easter is always the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. The only holiday that is still based on those times. And please come, sit. There's more chairs over here. It's okay. Also, the days began at sunset, not midnight. And so the ceremonies were all about worshiping the sun god. Who remembers what the name of the sun god was?
Ra?
Even further back. Woden. Or Odin. Guess what he looked like? Kind of like Santa. That's interesting. He was the bringer of the sun. He was all about fire. The very first fire among those people long ago was because of lightning, except for volcanic fires. And lightning hit the tree, set the tree on fire, so that became a very powerful ceremony for those people way back when. And so they began to worship the holy oak, which had received the lightning. They realized it's a miracle. There's light, there's fire, there's warmth. And they began to worship this oak tree by putting offerings around the tree and by hanging offerings in the tree. Sounds familiar. But why is it today a pine tree? Because the Christmas tree. Because the legend says that the Romans, the Crusaders, the Christians that did all that damage, cut down the oak trees because it was being worshipped by those people. But out of the ground where the oak tree was cut, a pine tree began to grow. And then the pine trees are the everlasting trees and bring in more warmth and more green and more fragrance. So they were used for that. So then the feast began, the hunter-gatherers' big feast and the sacrificial offerings to their God and all that celebration of life. Until life completely changed, Romans, Christians came in, and the old religion changed to a religion of good versus evil. The old solstice became Christmas, very slowly, because it's not that old. Woden or Odin became Santa Claus. And both end of the beautiful ancient pagan religions became either or. It was no longer about good and freedom. It was about good versus evil. And the shamans became Satan. The shamans became the devils or the witches. Male and female were witches. The shamans became Lucifer, who really, his name means the bringer of the light. And so here we are at a story that existed long, long, long ago, but it isn't completely over because all the remnants of the early solstice days are still noticed. There's still this idea of hanging things in the tree, giving gifts, having feasts, coming together, celebrating with food, having Santa Claus come in a very mysterious way. And yet the power, control, and the greed of the early Romans and Christians may have done an incredible amount of damage, but the resilience and the survival of the early people, called the little people, because now they're known as elves, fairies. Anybody here see fairies? I know 3 people that see fairies in the gardens. Gnomes, elves, all very real, right? That we still experience the remnants. And what it is all about, if you think about it, it's about homecoming. And boy, is homecoming at Christmas, I mean, just look at the Hallmark commercials and coffee commercials and candy commercials, how those commercials, you see the homecoming aspect is fraught with a little bit of everything, right? What are some of the feelings that come at this time of year? Some of it is joy and happiness, but some of it is loneliness and sadness and depression and anxiety, right? There's just so much of the both ends that we experience. And so on the spiritual path, we talk about coming home to yourself, coming home to your true self, coming home to your inner self. So this is the book that I studied this week, and these are the notes I took. So I said this in about 15 minutes, because there's so much information in here. It is absolutely fabulous. It talks about when Santa was a shaman. The cool thing is, it's a Dutchman who immigrated to the United States and became a very, very professional, active person in Hollywood and wrote this book in '95, and it is fascinating. So if anybody wants to get it, I think it's only used. You can only get it used. So a lot of what he talks about is that Santa Claus is really very, very new idea. And guess who created the idea of Santa Claus? Anybody know where Santa Claus, the American Santa Claus, comes
Macy's.
from? Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola decided the way they could get children to drink Coca-Cola was by doing this ad, but it wasn't quite allowed because at that time Coca-Cola had what inside of it?
Cocaine.
Cocaine! So this homecoming is what you see in all the different holidays at this time. And this year, Hanukkah and Christmas fall on the same day. So a lot of the beautiful religions from all the different cultures are all about coming home, coming together, celebrating together, being grateful, because Thanksgiving also has a connection to the winter holidays, which I won't go into now. And if we go even further, in China, there is a law, or maybe used to be a law, that this time of year, all the passes would be closed so that the merchants could not travel anymore. And they were forced to stay home and be with their families. In the Tao, you have the hexagram in I Ching that is Fu. And Fu is the hexagram of this time, and it's about returning to the stillness, to the silence, returning to rest and hibernate. I don't go to shopping malls very much, but I happened to be there the other day and I was overwhelmed. First of all, I couldn't find a parking place. Second of all, it was crazy inside, right? I don't do a lot of shopping. And when we do the workshop later, I'll share a little bit more how I recreated the holidays in such a way that it makes me happy. Because for me, it's a time to rest, relax, reflect, have silence, fast a little bit, and just set the tone for the year to come. It's a way to return to ourselves and remember who we are, why we are. Remember how we've grown throughout the year, what we've learned about ourselves. And then to celebrate that we were given another year of life. And because of this teaching, we know we've been given many opportunities to make choices that serve our highest idea of life, the highest idea of ourselves, and our purpose in how we show up in the world. So the invitation then is to be the bringer of your light. The bringer of your light. And remember, it's the both and. So that means that those of you who struggle during this season, that you have some healing work to do. That there's a lot of support, practitioners, right? Each other, that we can sit and listen for the inner guidance. Because when we're stressed and when we're struggling, it's a messenger. It has something to give us, something to tell us, something to teach us. And we know that it behooves us to listen. Because I know for myself, and as many of you have shared with me, if we don't listen, the banging on the door gets louder and more intense, right? So we're being invited to go and hibernate and reflect and refuel and reconnect and reawaken, because that's what the solstice is about. And then to take that into the world. Whether you do it with a simple smile, or you go volunteer at a soup kitchen, or you decide to give packages of food and gloves and hats and scarves to homeless people. Whatever it is that you do, you get to do it from a full heart. And when we give from a full heart, it's completely different than when we give from a depleted heart. And we don't always know that, because some of us were conditioned that way. But it allows us to be still and check in with that and listen for that and connect with that and feel that. We get to move into gratitude, which is really the shift from Thanksgiving into the winter holidays, right? And one of the reasons that Thanksgiving was created was because the British Puritans didn't like Christmas in the United States because it was way too pagan. So they stepped back and said, let's do a feast of gratitude. So this whole time really is about gratitude and celebrating our abundance. It's not looking at what we don't have or don't have enough of. Because if we do that, it becomes a snowball effect. It's like looking at and appreciating and welcoming what we do have. And then to celebrate our ancestors. You and I are here today because those people long survived. And they survived horrors. They survived very difficult times. And their resilience and their commitment to life brought us here today. So let's thank the ancestors further back than our own family tree. Mine goes back to the 16th century. Now I'm thinking about, let me go back even further than that, even to the beginning of the beginning, the ones I didn't know, and thank them and feel the gratitude for their survival and their resilience. And then the one thing that I would say those people, those little people, those early people held on to was hope and vision. Can you imagine those early days in winter and you think it's all coming to an end, but you have hope and faith that the light will return? That kind of hope, that kind of faith is what creates the next evolution of humanity and our planet. And because we are on a spiritual path, we have a big responsibility to hold that hope, to hold that light, to have that faith that life must unfold, because we want to think about the generations long from now, because we're in service to them with our whole life. And so to be grateful that the sun will rise again. I don't think there's anybody here that doubts whether spring will come in March. We know too much now. We know it too certainly that it will return. And so we can hold that vision for a long time to come for so many, especially those that have lost hope. Do you know anyone that has lost hope? I do. Several people. We must be in service to them if we say we're on a spiritual path. And how? I don't know for you, but I can listen to my heart and ask for guidance, and it will tell me, and then I must give that. So now we're going to have a little bit more sound from Kat, and then Susan will do a spiritual practice after that. So what I invite you to do while Kat is sounding her friends, that you reflect a bit on having hope, on your ancestors, on this time of year, and how that early history is still alive today. I mean, I don't know how long, but millions of years-ish. That's a gift to each of us. And so reflect on that if you wish, or take a nap.
And so I am grateful that I get to be here to shine my light, which is really your light, which is really our light. And so I'm going to lead you in a guided meditation about our light. And then we will sing We Are the Light together. So let's stay in this beautiful place which Kat so lovingly brought us to, and find that space to close your eyes if that's available, or simply glance downward and breathe. And as we breathe, we know that one of the divine qualities is light, and we know we are light-filled. We know that sometimes we forget, but the light is ever present. And as beloved Reverend Frankie said, we are here to shine that light for everyone, that they can find their own light. So as we breathe, we feel the warmth of that light. And it circulates throughout our bodies. It is the light. So become aware of that light within and let it move around with each breath. It's a breath of life, which is a breath of light. And be with that light, that incredible light, that beautiful light that is nourishing and nurturing and loving. And feel that warmth within you. And now as we breathe, let us focus on sharing that light with the people near you in your chairs. As you sit there, think, feel, imagine that light going outward. And actually it's all one light, so it's a beautiful sharing, intermingling of this one light this one life ever present. And just feel that light as it moves around you toward others, and others' lights shining on you. It is the perfect law of giving and receiving. Breathe in the light, breathe out the light, feel the light, be the light, share the light. And now as we feel this room light-filled, let's take the next step of the journey and let us share that light in this community, outward of this church, down the street, letting it shine brighter and brighter, and feeling as you share the light, your light gets brighter. And the light is so bright, it is the bright light of love. And as we sit here and feel this light and share this light, let us do what we do in this practice and spread that light throughout the world. We know where light is needed. The light is present, but some people forget. So we remind them, are letting our light shine even brighter. Spread it out. Move it out to the world. Feeling that vibration of that warmth of that light. Being in service to all, seen and unseen, because we are the light. We are expressing the divine light that is ever present and ever omnipotent. So the power of this light is a healing light. It brings the gift of love. So as we breathe, and we just soften that glow a little bit and bring it back inward. So that we can feel our own now individual light glow. We express gratitude to those who shared their light with us this morning. And let's just be with our own light for this moment. Feeling that warmth, that blessed assurance that the light is truly ever present. And as we feel that beautiful warmth, I invite you to bring yourself back to this space. And when you are ready, open your eyes so that we can all sing together. So I invite you to stand up. And if you're so moved, hold hands with the people next to you. And I think we all know this song. We'll sing it 3 times through. We are the light, we are the light, we are the light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. We are the light, we are the light, we are the light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. One more time. We are the light, we are the light, we are the light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and and we shine so bright. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan and Kat. So the workshop, Holiday Blues and Reds and Greens, is today at 1. It's just a love offering, whatever you feel like giving. It's till about 2:30, and we're gonna have some fun, we're gonna cry, we're gonna laugh, and whatever happens, happens, right? So I want you to know that next Sunday, we're not meeting in here at 11. We're meeting next door. We are participating in the service at Brookside Community Church. They have a very special concert with a string quartet and their choir and some unusual music and stories because it's in honor of Joseph and the troublemakers and the, what was it, the troublemakers and the risk takers, which, you know, duh, fits for us, right? So we're all invited. They have a breakfast at 9:30 if you want to come early and have breakfast. And we are planning to have a social hour afterwards here in our space, and we'll invite them over as well. Barbara and I think Lynn are doing this social hour for us.
Will we have a spiritual mind treatment that day?
Will we have what?
A spiritual mind treatment that day?
I don't know what you mean.
A
Well, we have a
spiritual mind
treatment.
treatment, like, I guess.
No,
Retreat.
no,
Retreat.
just there, yeah. And then I want you to take this with you because we're having our first concert in January. Thank you, Kathy. The concert is on January 25th. You think it's a long time from now, but the way time has been flying, it'll be here before you know it, so get your tickets. And on the 31st, we have been participating for over 3 decades with John Randolph Price World Healing Meditation. We're blessed to have it be at 7 a.m. here. I mean, we're not in Hawaii or California because it's always the same time, Greenwich Village time. Greenwich, what is that called?
Mean time.
Yeah, that. Village time, Greenwich Village time. Okay. And it's at 7 o'clock for us. It's a 1-hour meditation, and we're meditating for world peace. I don't know if you think the world needs it. So get out of bed and come and join us, or do it at home. From 7 to 8, if you go on the website, the World Healing Meditation, there is a guided meditation you can start off with and just do your own meditation. Oh, yes. We are very grateful for all that you are, all that you do, all that you have, all that you give. If you wish to give, you don't have to give because you don't have to do anything. But if you wish to give, this is your time to do so. Or if you want to do it online, there's ways to do it online. I like text to give, but you can Venmo, PayPal, whichever way you want to. And all of you received a little paper that invites you to consider your spiritual community at year end for a tax deductible donation. We love your generosity and we actually welcome it. So if that's something that you want to participate in, the information is on the little handout. So let's do an affirmation together as the basket goes around. Those of you that don't give today, just bless the generosity and the abundance that our spiritual community and each member and friend is experiencing. So divine love consecrates my gift.
Divine love consecrates my gift.
It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless.
It goes forward to heal, prosper, and bless.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
As I share my good, I accept my greater good.
As I share my good, I accept my greater good.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So, Susan, would you close us with a healing treatment, and then we have a wonderful social hour. Thanks to Anna Nierenberg. Where's Anna? Thank you, Anna. I think she went to the bathroom. Thank you, Anna. And then we have the workshop at 1 o'clock. If it is more than 6 people, we're going to be in here. If it's 6 people, we're going to be in our multi-purpose space. Susan.
So let's just take a moment before I treat, say our affirmative prayer, and close our eyes. and just feel the warmth of this space again. For we are so grateful to be here and so blessed to be supported by such a loving and wonderful community. So I speak these words for everyone here, knowing that there is only one, and that one is the light of love. And that love is ever present, emanating. It is inflowing, it is indwelling, it is surrounding, it is uplifting each one here. And as we move into this holiday, into this time of sometimes more to do, we learn to be. And we learn to be with that light. We learn to take those breathers. We learn to accept that blessed assurance that is present, because the divine is ever present. And we sit and step and walk and breathe and move into this time of peace, because we know the truth. Peace is ever present, a divine quality. Peace. And when we sit in this peace, these peaceful times, these peaceful moments, our light really can shine forth. So this is also an invitation to remember, as we remember this truth, that light is ever present, and we remember peace. The underlying peace gives us the freedom, that is the freedom of the divine love, to shine our light. Our light is shining evermore eternally, and we are grateful because of this. So as we sit in gratitude, I release these words and we all say together, and so it is.